My wife, F38, and I, M33, are on the verge of divorce. Am I the problem? My wife and I met 10 years ago. We just passed 7 of being married. We have no kids, a dog, house, and both have busy jobs. When we met, everything was great. She was smart, beautiful, nice, funny, and we had a pretty normal sex life. Nothing crazy, but I was okay with that. A few weeks before we get married, she develops a condition that makes it painful to have sex. All she said was basically, something isn't right now. But no indication we'd never have penetrative sex again. It's a medical issue with treatments. I didn't think much of it. I thought it was temporary based on the way it was communicated in such a bare minimal information way. We get married. Turns out without treatment, it's not going away. I tried to be supportive and found treatments. She gave up immediately, saying it was too uncomfortable. After bringing it up a handful of times, I realized it was going to change. She said I was putting pressure on her, making things worse. I told her I felt bad and backed off on it forever. Now we still have non-pen sex. If I don't bring up sex, she'd happily go years without noticing or trying to initiate. We can go several months without sex. When we do anything, there's no desire there. We just end up rubbing against each other, but it felt like she did not want to be there. That's not okay for me, felt very off-putting and made me more distant. She too got more and more distant. I am into feet, for example. I asked over the years for her to paint them black or white. She used to get them when we're dating, but once I asked, it never happened again. She says those colors are for porn stars, lol. I tried to explain why I thought it was weird to intentionally avoid doing something so harmless your significant other likes, and saying it's important for work seems like an excuse. She said I'm being selfish. Any conversation in any of these topics gets immediately hostile. Now every time I bring up anything, I feel scared of her reactions. She always misinterprets what I'm saying and makes it very negative. Gets very mad when I won't admit I said what she thinks I said. I like to go out, have drinks and eat delicious food and try to enjoy life. She doesn't want to anymore. When she does, it's a rush to get home and any small talk. When she joins my daily walk, she just complains about things like how I react when other dogs are around or how long I let my dog smell grass. Now I think, what are we gonna do when we retire? Am I just gonna always feel alone? Not fun, and starting to think life is too short. Her argument is that I'm lazy. Don't do anything for her, it always ends up being 100% my fault. She said her love language is acts of service. For months I'd constantly have flowers at the house, cards, and try to come up with fun date ideas. She then said it was a waste of time, money, or whatever. I cook, take care of the dog, do laundry, work, and we split chores around the house that we do every weekend. I told her we could rebalance those, but she thinks it's fair. We also hire a maid for deep cleans. She says I'm distant, but after years of being pushed away, it's hard not to be. 2 days ago I brought this all up again. I explained that if you can't even paint your toes for me, how am I supposed to expect any effort in our marriage? I said we repeat the same argument over and over, so it's divorce or get a marriage counselor. She never takes any blame, said it hurt her because I've been so distant. I told her this was going to happen years ago if we didn't work on our marriage. I agreed to counselor because I feel like I should make an effort, but I'm concerned that was a bad choice. Yesterday she went back to normal like nothing happened. Booking trips many months in advance assuming we'd be together. When I asked why she was focused on that instead of finding a marriage counselor, she said it was my job to find one. I'm just taken aback. It's pretty clear if she wanted to work on anything in the relationship, then she would be working on getting a counselor pretty quickly. My biggest concern is that I'm doing all of this just because we have no sex. But I do believe we would make it if she made an effort to solve that in any other way. But all of our sex life, she has made incredibly small amount of effort since COVID, so I don't expect anything to change. I think she stays because I make a lot of money, nice house, good long-term career. It's easy for her to stay. She loves the dog a lot. Should I just skip the counseling? Will they tell her or me who is acting stupid? Or just extend the time we deal with each other? If it is I'd like to know. Your marriage sounds over a long time ago. The question comes down to what you both want from it, and needs aren't being met. I couldn't even finish reading this. If she doesn't see there is a problem, nothing will ever get addressed. You two are no longer compatible. Dude, just leave. You have 50 summers tops. This is how you want to waste them? Should I just skip the counseling? Yes. It's been 7 years of this. She puts zero effort into you or the relationship. Stop living in the fantasy of what could be if only she would. And start living in the reality of what actually is because she won't. Life is short. You've spent 1/3 of your life with a woman who isn't trying. Now you know what one of your boundaries is, an adult who works at improving your relationship. It's not time wasted if you learn lessons from this relationship. Get a divorce, move on, consider healthy boundaries and how to enforce them. Summertime is coming up and it's a great time to get out and meet new people. Start the divorce proceedings now. I personally would leave. It sounds like y'all are incompatible on many levels. If you do go for counseling, you will have to be the one who finds a counselor. My 29F boyfriend, 30M, family is encouraging him to cheat on me. My boyfriend, 30M, and I, 29F, have been dating for about a year. Recently he told me that his family has been encouraging him to cheat on me for the past 6 months and his dad would make comments that he's hooked onto me because I'm the first P he's ever had and he should get more. My boyfriend has never defended me and I feel so degraded and disgusted. I have gone out with his family, been to their house and they have still been saying this. I don't want to ruin my boyfriend's relationship with his family but I do not want to see them or have a relationship with them. My boyfriend said I should act like everything is normal with them. That is a clear-cut sign to fuck right off in my opinion. It's not overly rare for a significant other to have conflicts with their spouse's family. However, it is the person whose family it is responsibility to iron out the issues. You shouldn't be expected to deal with this crap. Your boyfriend should be taking it upon himself to make you feel comfortable with his family. Instead, you're getting the "it's fine, just ignore it. Suck it up and deal with it." That would be disappointing to hear from my partner. I would not be investing in someone who cannot defend my name to their family when the family is the problem. I think it's worth addressing with a more serious tone with your BF. My boyfriend has never defended me. That's really all the information I needed. Break up with him. This is only going to get worse. Imagine having people like that as your in-laws. The fact he's not standing up to them, or for you and your relationship, makes me think that his family are used to pushing him around and he's quite likely to listen to them. You need to have it out with him. I would not associate with his family. Let him go visit. You go no contact with them. That's him telling you he's going to cheat or is cheating. They are getting another version of the story and telling them to act normal too. No normal partner would share this with you without being in conflict with their family and defending your relationship. My 24 female boyfriend, 28 male, proposed on April Fool's Day, but I'm not the person who's mad about it. My 24 female boyfriend, 28 male, have been together for a year and 2 days, April 2nd. We had been seeing each other for a month before the drift season at his home track started up. He had asked me to come to first event on April 2, 2022 as a photographer in the media team while he drifted in one of the 3 groups. I got approved and that's how I went to my first drift event. The moment was perfect. He got me a ride along and after some hesitation, I strapped in. It was one of the greatest experiences of my life. After my ride along, I took off my helmet and ran into his arms with adrenaline in my veins. I fell in love with drifting, and he fell in love with me. We have a wonderful relationship. It's like living in a fairy tale. He's this kind, caring and attentive partner whose love for me superseded his pessimism for the world. Our communication, chemistry, comprehension, it's all top-notch. We've never had an argument. We've never gone to bed mad at each other. We're doing all the things we need to do to have a good future. It's great. So here's the meat of the story. I have 2 best friends, Sally and Gina. Sally's birthday is April 1st, and this year, the first drift event of this season fell on the same date. So we all coordinated a plan. Me and my boyfriend would go to the track, we'd leave before the event ends, get the mud off of us, and go to Gina's house for Sally's birthday party. Already, nothing is going right. What's supposed to be a drizzle is full downpour, and what was supposed to be a 5-8-minute media meeting lasted 16 seconds. So I turned around, and there he was, my BF, on one knee, with a chick-shaped ring pop. I felt 2 distinct emotions. Joyous surprise and an instant oh crap, it's my beef's birthday. My stomach churned in confusion. I couldn't hear anything he was saying. All I know is that I got my yes out, we kissed, we hugged and I kept my breakfast down. I called Gina shortly after and tell her that he proposed. I know she tried her best to sound happy for me, but she said that we would have to chat when we got to her house and that we shouldn't mention it to Sally. I told her that I wasn't planning to announce an engagement on her birthday, and that we'd have a better convo in person. I talked briefly to my boy France and we agreed to keep it under wraps until our anniversary the next day. Fast forward to Sally's birthday party, we've successfully avoided bringing it up to not ruin the party, but of course. My boyfriend stuck his foot in his mouth when he said, "I feel weird sharing anything about the track without announcing our engagement." Sally was sitting between us. My heart dropped to my ass and after we both stared at each other, she disappeared into a room with Gina. She shortly came out and pulled me in the room and the first thing out of her mouth was, "I heard what he said." To my understanding, Gina and Sally were upset that he went through the first half of his proposal plan when they had all been in on this elaborate engagement plan. Sally expressed that at first she was okay with sharing the date, as he had asked her, but after so much changed, she told him he wasn't comfortable with it because she felt like he was putting her birthday as a sideline event to celebrate the engagement instead. I explained that I knew how he was, and figured that he did the first half because the track and the date is incredibly important to us, but that had I known he was planning this, I would have stopped him to avoid the tension. The night ended, my boyfriend drove Sally and another of our friends home, and we headed home. The entire ride was spent in conversation. He expressed that we had talked about engagement so much, and April was such an important month in our relationship, that he didn't want to disappoint me by not proposing on the one stone, and that he thought Sally meant she wasn't comfortable with making the dinner portion about our engagement, and had no intentions of letting it slip. To his credit, he's a terrible liar. So now I'm in this uncomfortable position. I spent our anniversary the next day, April 2nd, trying to iron this situation out. I apologized to Sally, I discussed it with my boyfriend for the 50th time, and his mom chimed in. He agreed to apologize to make things right because he felt bad that she's upset and I'm upset because she's upset, and his mom said that while she understood he picked such a rough date, it sucked that Sally couldn't have put her anger aside for just a moment to be happy for me. I decided that we'd consider the ring pop engagement a gag until he proposed with the actual ring and we'd make that date our official engagement date. The third was spent in hours-long conversations, trying to understand why Sally was this upset about it, and to my understanding she was afraid I'd have to pick between my engagement and her birthday going forward. She felt like he put a damper on the day, she felt like he had ignored her requests, etc. And I comforted her by telling her that I'd never have to choose because I'd always pick her birthday and celebrate my engagement on our yearly anniversary the next day, and that this back and forth had to be resolved between her and my BF. The phone call ended with Sally explaining that she was angry still but she'd talk it out with him. I reached my breaking point when the reality hit. Not only had I not been able to announce my engagement, and still haven't, no one stopped to realize that I was the only person in this equation who hadn't known anything and I was the one stuck trying to fix it all. I broke down when I realized that the only happy response I got was from my BF's parents. I'm not mad at anyone specifically, and I don't fully believe one person is right or wrong. But I'm at a loss. I'm scared of things going wrong when he does the formal proposal, and I want this to happen when Sally is at a place where she can be happy for me, but I'm incredibly frustrated that this is all happening over a date and I'm just not sure what to do, or what steps to take. What would you do in my situation? Edit. I forgot to include the last part, sorry. Gina was the first person I called when I broke down, as she had also been trying to get Sally to see over the situation and Gina is insisting that she will take care of the situation on her end because she loves me and can't believe this whole Sally thing blinded everyone, including her, to how I felt. Gina stated that Sally was just in an off mood the entire time, before we arrived, that some stuff happened between Irule's friend that soured the occasion, and that the whole day had gone to shit for everyone so tensions not related to us boiled over and I got stuck with the heat, and that she insisted on me not spending 2 entire days on this for my happiness and sake. She apologized to me, boyfriend apologized to Sally, boyfriend apologized to me for putting me in this weird situation, said that one way or another, we'd make my BFF's second proposal the best day of my life and that's where we are now. Are your friends always this selfish? She gets a birthday every year. Your life and its moments you cherish shouldn't revolve around her. The date and event was important to your relationship, it makes sense he proposed there. You didn't make her birthday about your engagement but have spent a lot of time trying to put out fires about a surprise and beautiful moment in your life. And they're so far up their own asses they can't be happy for you. It's BS. OMG, call the media. Sally owns April 1st. Perfect birthday for her cause she's a damn fool. This seems like a huge deal being made over a small thing. Am I reading this right? Did you agree to not really be engaged to appease her, and he does a different proposal? Op. With all due respect, your friends fucking suck. Sally's birthday happens on the same day every year. That doesn't mean she owns a monopoly on every single event that happens on that day. She can't put aside her selfishness for one stinking day to happy for your one-time event? Fucking absurd. That's awful. Your friends are so into themselves that they can't even bother to be happy for you. If my best friend got engaged on my B-day, I'd say, fuck my birthday, this is way more special. The fact her feelings invalidated your BF's extremely romantic, thoughtful, cute, and incredible proposal is beyond insane. Don't let this slide. Your future Mill is right. IDK, how many times I can iterate this? Your friends fucking suck. It sucks ass that your first emotion felt when you got proposed to was feeling guilty that it's your friend's B-day. The fact you instantly were afraid she would be pissed rather than happy for you really goes to show that it isn't a good friendship. My 30F boyfriend, 37M, asked if his girlfriend, 36F, could move in with us. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 1 year. We live together in a house. We have both had our share of long-term relationships and we are pretty serious about each other and make plans for our future together. He has a female friend of 20 years that I'll call T to give some background. They dated for a couple of years in high school, college. Things fell apart, they did drugs together, she cheated on him, but they have stayed close friends throughout the years. I knew this when we started dating and didn't have a problem with it, since they're just friends. She lives in his hometown and we live in a different state. In the last few months we've started to have issues surrounding their relationship. T is in a rough place in life. She has an ongoing addiction and a lot of trauma. She doesn't have many friends. My boyfriend has mentioned that he is basically her only friend. A few months ago she quit her job and was worried about having a place to live. The house she was renting was being sold and plans to move with her boyfriend fell through. My boyfriend offered to let her live in his camper van, and that he would drive it to her. I told him I didn't think this was a good idea due to her alcohol issues and how that may result in unfavorable consequences. He ended up agreeing after he offered it to her but didn't communicate that to her and instead waited for her to turn it down, which he thought she would. She ended up moving in with her dad. Things have been going poorly there and she has been having several emotional breakdowns, calling my boyfriend and saying she's going to kill herself. I felt really bad for her, but at the same time she was not seeking help for her addiction, trauma and did not have a job. She was really stressed about being able to pay her bills, so my boyfriend gave her some money, a few hundred. I told him that I didn't think that was a good idea since he could be enabling rather than helping. He ended up agreeing. A few weeks later he visited his hometown and they hung out. She has been doing odd jobs but is still struggling. He offered to give her money again after she said she was stressed about bills, but she turned it down. I was upset that he didn't keep to his boundary and original decision, but whatever, I can't decide what he chooses to do. Last night she called him crying again, saying the people she lives with are treating her badly. From what I understand, her family is abusive. Today, my boyfriend asked if I would be okay with her living with us. I got really upset. I don't fully understand why. From my perspective it seems like they have a very codependent relationship. My boyfriend is the type of person that wants to help people, we both do, and that's an important value we share. But at the same time I don't think it's healthy that he's her only friend, and that he's willing to offer that to her. He asked me before talking to her, knowing that we see things very differently. From our conversations, it seems that my boyfriend feels some sort of responsibility to help her or save her. Just the other day he said that he doesn't think she's going to change, and then today he wants to let her move in? I think it's his choice and I really can't and shouldn't try to control what he does. I told him I could to move out so she could move in, but I don't see us all living together a possibility. I told him we would need to set boundaries like her getting a job and professional help. In addition, I don't currently have the emotional capacity to do all of that right now. I know for a fact it would affect my mental health. My boyfriend says that I don't really know her and that I'm making assumptions about their relationship. I don't know her. I've never met her or talked to her. We've tried to meet up but it didn't work out. I understand that is probably influencing my perspective, but at the same time I think I can see things that he can't because he's too close to it. In past conversations about her he's become really defensive, especially when I mention the idea of enabling. I'm fine with him talking to her and supporting her as a friend, but I feel like this request crossed a line. I want to respect his choices and their relationship, but I feel that this will probably be an ongoing issue. I wonder if I'm overreacting. I'm also unsure what to do about this or how I should handle it." Too long did not read. My boyfriend asked if his longtime friend of 20 years could move in with us. She is struggling with addiction and I think he is enabling her. Edit. I told him no, absolutely not, and he said okay. I don't think he understands that, objectively, this would be a very bad idea. He is okay with me saying no but continues to think it's because I just don't know her and don't understand that she needs help. I'm disappointed. Rehab is where she needs to go. That's it. He can help her with that. Otherwise you are both really going to regret this decision. Likely may end up with your boyfriend using again. No one can help an addict but themselves. Mostly likely it's her refusal to do so is why she has no one. I am sure she truly is very depressed. That does not mean that either of you can help her. She needs professional help. Oof. This is a definite no. You are not a rehab center, a mental health facility, and a job development agency rolled into one. This will be the end of your relationship. Is that what you want? Is that what he wants? I understand the instinct to help people, but this will absolutely not help her long term. For that she needs intensive therapy from professionals, not an ex-boyfriend who is willing to throw away his relationship to play rescue. Total disaster waiting to happen. Your feelings are valid. She needs rehab and he is enabling. Do not let an addict into your house. It can only end in your distress. A stranger with a drug problem living with you? I'm a guilt-free no on that one. Her relationship history with your boyfriend is irrelevant emo.